Hi guys, and this is another video because of the question that usually I have on emails, Instagram, Facebook, our Facebook group, by the way, is what is a dual heating coffee machine? How does it work? Is it worth buying or not? Stuff like that. So people ask me for details about these machines, and I decided to make this video 4 a.m. but I guess it's a good time for a nice video. So instantly what you can see on dual heating machines is this red and white switch. White switch has two positions, right? 1, 2. So this is a dual heating machine. A detail group head is small, and you will always have dual heating pre-millennium. So they are made, and they were made before 2000. This model has the 2 bolts on the side of the group head neck. So this is a pre-millennium, I guess 80s, made in the 80s, 3D badge, bolts, red and white switch. Another element is this. It has a broken side glass, so this is how it was shipped to me. But it does have the metal side glass cover. This is the original metal cover. That means, as a detail, if you want to add a pressure gauge to the boiler upper side glass, it will be an M12 thread adapter because of the side glass metal cover and the age. And another detail is the fact that you can see the boiler knob. It used to be made really good because this is metal and it's the short model. This is short, it's not tall as the new boiler knobs found now on the market. So this is another detail about this machine. Also, we have the fixed steam pipe. So if I screw this a little bit harder, the steam pump will not move up and down. You just position this any way you like. You screw this stronger and it will sit in a fixed position. This is what pre-millennium some of the machines have. And dual heating means the fact that these machines don't have pressure stats. So the internal pressure from the boiler is not controlled by a pressure stat switch. So what it means is that we have a dual heating element which has 2 resistances. I will show you in the next part differences between modern heating elements and dual heating elements. So you don't have a pressure stat inside underneath the base. The only thing that regulates the working pressure is this safety valve. So what annoys people usually, this will constantly hiss. It will eliminate steam constantly because this is the only thing that will keep your boiler at a constant safe working pressure. So it means that even if you're on position 1 on the switch, or position 2, on position 1 you will see steam coming out, and on position 2 you will see a lot of steam constantly hissing from the valve. So be careful with this, because if you forget the machine on position 2, you will dry out the heating element pretty fast. It's really powerful hissing. And again, remember, no pressure stat. So this is a modern stainless steel heating element. It doesn't have the pressure stat pipe. A pipe sits here, bent pipe, and at the end you will have a pressure stat. There's a date here, March 2022, written here. And also remember, very important, this is a small thread. We attach here a thermofuse, so the heating element cannot overheat because the power will get cut off by the thermofuse, sorry. So we have two prongs, one here, one here. Fuse, pressure stat, pipe, hold an inside thread that holds the pressure stat switch. So this is a modern heating element, and you can see one resistance. These are two dual heating elements. How do you know your machine age? Well, we have here March 91 written. You can see 391. So this is from a machine that was assembled in 91, I guess. So what we have, 4 prongs, not 2. We don't have a pressure stat pipe hole, and we don't have a fuse. And I wanted to show you that some do have a fuse. It's this one, and some don't. This is how it was shipped to me, this machine. So 4 prongs. This does have a fuse, and this is April 93. You can see 493 written on the heating element. And we have 2 resistances. We have a smaller one inside, and we have the bigger one on the outside. This is why you can see written 1000 watts usually on them. The big has 800 watts, and the smaller heating element is 200 watts. So it's 800 plus 200 watts. And what happens is, when you're on position 1, the small heating element works. When you go to position 2, you get a lot more power due to the 800 watts second coil or resistance. So this is how dual heating work. This is how they look. These are the heating elements. Remember the gasket type. So the new stainless use a O-ring over here. The old models, dual heating or not, because in the 90s we do have simple, not dual heating, we do have simple heating elements, but they use also that flat old type gasket. So here we have another type of gasket. It's not an O-ring, it's a flat circle gasket, this and this. Some have the fuse on the center, like this one, some don't, like this one. So remember, 4 prongs, fuse or not, 2 resistance coils, gasket is different, and I will explain shortly how actually this one works with the machine near me. Okay, so we turn the machine on. We can turn it on position 1 or 2. The beauty of dual heating is that you can heat them up really fast. If you turn the machine on and go to position 2 directly, that means that both resistances, small and big, will turn on and it will boil the water pretty fast. But remember, very important, stay near the machine, because if you remain on position 2, a lot of steam will hiss from the safety valve, and you can at some point, depending on how much water you have inside the machine, you will dry the heating element and it will just blow. So for faster heat up, you can turn on and directly on position 2 when you see the water boiling. And if you add the pressure gauge from us, for example, from Coffee Sensor, you will see that it goes over 1 bar for sure, towards 2 bar. Go after the boil to position 1, so that will lower the pressure and the machine will work with the smaller resistance only. So I consider position 1 extraction mode, position 2 only for frothing milk, very powerful frothing. So you can use position 2 for faster heat up or really powerful frothing compared to position 1. So remember extraction, frothing. Remember about the hissing valve. Remember how the heating elements look like. So position 1 is smaller resistance, position 2 both resistance work, and they offer 1000 watts total, and we have 200 watts here. This switch looked different in the 70s, so dual heating machines had different switches over I believe 60s, even 60s, 70s, 80s. Remember that some machines are dual heating, so red and white. Even in the 90s I've seen, pretty rare for me, but I did see 90s dual heating before they introduced the brass, so they look like this but only 2 prongs, and pressures that they introduced that in the 90s after they renounced the dual heating mode. So this is it. Remember, again, just a small recap, dual heatings are always pre-millennium, made before 2000. Usually on the market they are from the 80s. Red and white switch, on off, extraction, powerful frothing. So you have 2 positions. This is how the heating element looks like. Remember, some don't have even a fuse to protect the heating element. Some do have it. 4 prongs, 2 coils. If this machine is for you or not, it's your personal decision. I personally prefer pressure stat machines operated by a pressure stat switch inside the base. Simple heating elements, and now in 2020 something, because we have a really good community, we can actually transform these simple elements with a pipe and a special pressure stat model. We actually can use these switches to create dual heating working machines. So brand new model, and without any hissing from the safety valve. So that's important. We can recreate these machines now without the hassle of on-off cycles. So we can use a pressure stat. Now we do use this brand new switch, dual heating, but again the valve will not hiss like these older models do. And remember, don't play around with safety on these models. Use the original spring and metal ball from inside the safety valve. That's it, it's right here. So you have the safety valve here. Don't mess around with this one, because this is the only element that regulates pressure, remember. Okay, thank you guys.